Welcome back to the cronecast at the Rising Moon. Hey guys, today I have a reading for you, a pick a card with 4 piles. There's going to be a moment here where you have time with the cards to see which one really calls out to you or stands out to you. That's the message you're most meant to receive. This is one of those readings that if more than one pile calls out to you, by all means, feel free to watch more than one pile. This is what do they wish they could say to you now? What do they wish they could say to you? I don't know what the nature of the relationships will be. I don't know if they're past or they're present, but I did shuffle for the Lenormand cards, which when they come out, that means they will have some bearing or meaning within the relationship, although they do not define everything. So take a moment, see which one calls out to you. That is the message you're most meant to receive. I'll see you at the time of your reading. And again, it is, what do they wish they could say to you now? Welcome back. If you chose pile number 1, this is your reading. I'm going to put the number 1 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their readings, but there are always timestamps in the description box down below. We're going to put the mountain card over there. I did shuffle for those cards. Mountains in the Lenormand deck are about obstacles, things that need to be overcome or worked around. So that is the first meaning of that, but it could actually mean that it's a literal mountain, for instance. Like if you like hiking or something, then mountains might come up. Let's get going with the traditional manga deck to see what do they wish they could say to you now? What do they wish they could say to you now? Hey guys, before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe because it helps my channel. Wow, the tower just took me off guard there with the King of Pentacles. If you want to book me for a private reading, the only way to do so is through @therisingmoon.com, which is my website. It's linked in the description box down below. Let's keep going here. What do they wish they could say to you now? Oh, and I have a Patreon as well. If you would like daily spiritual healing guidance or predictive cards, they're in there as well. Monday through Friday on my Patreon. Page of Pentacles in the upright with the 4 of Cups in reverse. All right, we're going to get the rest of the cards down, and then we're going to start talking about these guys in depth. This is an infinity spread. I almost always use an infinity spread. And I have a bunch of oracle cards in the background. Let's talk about the first primary meaning in this infinity spread. The Tower is a card of complete and total change. It can be a revelation. It can be an epiphany. It can be about everything falling apart. It is one of the cards for divine intervention. I like this particular tower. I like towers because they're as frequently about divine messages as they are about anything for me. With the King of Pentacles, which is a card, it can be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus energy. I'm not much of an astrological reader, so I'm more likely to see this as a 3D energy, a successful energy, someone who's established. This is not likely like a very young person's read, like a 14 or 15-year-old person's read, because the Kings in Pentacles, the Kings in the court cards are about like things seen through fruition. So this is a fully mature person. With the Page of Pentacles in the upright, which is one of the cards for me of learning a lesson, of learning new things, of new beginnings, with the 4 of Cups in reverse in the outcome area. We'll get to the underlying issues here in a moment. But the outcome area contains the card of underlying issues. So like everything in their life had to undergo a big change. They've had to face a lot of things about themselves. Boy, if they blamed you to start, they're more likely to blame themselves now. This looks like a relationship that isn't currently in your life, that there were obstacles in the way of it, or that a long-running relationship hit something it couldn't get past. And it does not appear to be a current relationship. I think something went wrong within a relationship, and they blamed you entirely, like entirely. They have since come to understand that they are likely the person at fault. What they wish they could say to you is that they have changed so much and that they're so sorry. That they learned a lot of lessons from what happened between the two of you. They still struggle though. Like it's an integral part of them that caused them to be like a saboteur within your relationship. That they have been, this looks to me like the card draw of someone who is likely in recovery. And I think that was the obstacle, that there was an addiction present. I don't have the devil card here, but it's the Tower that is making me say, oh, they had something go wrong enough that they had to confront what they were doing with their own life. And it may have been with their health, or it may have been like a DUI. I kind of get the feeling on a DUI here. That they finally were court ordered to do something. And that it put them into a recovery space. It's not going to hold true for everybody. Remember, general readings, they can't. Let's take a look at your underlying issues here. With the Ace of Cups in the upright, I have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Boy, did they have trouble with the way they talked to people when they were angry. Wow. Yeah, they had a substance abuse issue. They may have been in denial about it. They may not still refer to it as an addiction, but they were engaging in substance abuse is what this looks like to me. And it made them more and more callous towards your feelings. This comes out with the King of, whoa. They had to go to anger management, it looks like. There really might have been an altercation in their life where they got sentenced to something, because this is the weirdest feel to it. Like they would have gone happily along blaming you for a really long time until they were forced to take a look at themselves. Because this is somebody who just like, they do not know how to control their temper, but they've been learning to. With the Two of Swords in reverse, which is about their choices and having their eyes opened. They wish they could tell you that if they could change anything, it would be the way the things went down with you. You've wondered, this is a past relationship, it's a past relationship. You have wondered if they have any regrets, and like for a while I think it kind of seemed like maybe they didn't have a conscience or something. The person has a conscience, it's just a little bit different. It just is a little bit different. Like they were socialized or raised to believe very different things than you were. They were just nasty to you on multiple occasions. They wish they could take that back. They said something on one particular occasion that like they if they could have one moment back, it's that they didn't want to be your friend or something. That they didn't never want to see you again. They basically implied to you that you had literally no value to them. And the universe came along and started teaching them a lot of lessons about that, because everything they tried to undertake, it hit this failure energy, because that is one of the meanings of the Tower card. They wish they could talk to you. They wish they could be your friend. They wish they could, like, you solved a lot of problems, and like they've realized in the aftermath, because they thought they were really good at it, and they realized in the aftermath it was you. They wish they could take back half of what they said to you. Like they don't like that, they know that you have a very poor opinion of them. Now they have good moments and bad moments. Like this person really struggles with like a negative outlook. What else have we got here? We've got the Empress in reverse. And then I've got the Five of Wands in reverse as well. So the Empress in reverse for me is somebody who's just resourceful, thinks outside of the box, is always coming up with a workaround. That's what happened, by the way, because I think you're wondering, like, at what point did they begin to understand that they should not have treated me that way? And it was when they had problem after problem coming up, and it didn't magically go away anymore. And they started to understand that the reason that it had felt that way in the past was because of you. And they wish, these are all things they wish they could talk to you about. There is some reason that they can't. There might, like, this energy is bad enough that they might not be allowed to. But they have had some kind of, like, deep energy change around that. If you heard a big thump in the background, I dropped the deck as I was picking it up. So we're going to try all over again. Let's go with the Soul Helper. They wish that they could go back in time, and there's like 5 different points at which they said things that they're like, they think about them. Because, by the way, they have a much better memory than like they ever conveyed that they do. Like they're haunted by a lot of stuff here. Their dreams are very weird. Their dreams are very, very, very weird. So this is the one that fell out. Lost in the ruins of the past. Find the way to the present moment and live. They spend a lot of their time thinking about the life they had when you were in it. And I do not believe that you're in this person's life. Could you be in this person's life? Probably, if you wanted to. But like, if any of this stuff is accurate, it's like, wow. Wow, did they ever get out of line? You may have as well sometimes. Like, you might be able to fight fire with fire, but I don't think you're ever the person starting it. They wish they had treated you as if you were very valuable because they had to learn your value in the aftermath. Like, I think sometimes you wonder, are they ever going to have a real person again? No, not really. Like, they'll have people come and go. But they're... One of the things that happened is that somebody left them because of the way they talked to people and to that person. And then very shortly after that, there was, like I said, I kind of get a DUI vibe or like a health crisis vibe where they just kind of had to face up to their own crap. This is a little bit like amusing because like they still struggle with full accountability. Like, there's times when they wish they could say, I'm so sorry, like, I take full responsibility. And then, like, sometimes they'll be ruminating on things and they'll be like, there's fault on both sides. And then they circle back around it. They chase their tail in their head a lot. Recognizing that it's like, I had this great life and I threw it away. This might be a divorce. It could be a long-term relationship. It might be a long-term friendship, but I don't think so. Because like this person really had to confront that you were the glue that held their life together. A difficult path is being revealed. Hold on just a moment. With nature is calling you. So the difficult path has been their life thus far. They had multiple setbacks because of the way they talk to people. It isn't just you. I think that's the thing that really made them start to examine things. Is that like, if I'm laughing, it's because it's a little bit genuinely funny this time. I do believe they're in some form of recovery. And afterwards, as they're talking to people about it, like a lot of people have heaved things off their chest about how they felt around this person. And because I think it's either alcohol or it might be something in addition to that, but it doesn't appear to be heroin or anything. It seems like it was less socially frowned upon, which is one of the reasons that they had a really hard time confronting the fact that they have issues. Like I said, there are days when they just want to like beg you for forgiveness, and then there are days where they still kind of pick apart things at the seam and are like, that was their fault. And then like I think they have to go and talk to somebody. Honest to goodness, like they backslide still. They're having trouble with it. It's their self-esteem and they know it. Like, they know that ultimately the reason that they have such a hard time being like, yeah, no, I was really at fault there, is that, like, they've got damaged self-esteem. I know it probably comes from a formative experience. It almost always does. They wish you really, really well. They wish you really, really well. They have a lot of... Here's the thing, in the aftermath of something, you were like super, super resilient and like, they wished all kinds of bad things on you while they were still engaging in whatever this tower represents them giving up. And like everything they wished on you kept happening to them. Like, it really is like, wow. Wow. Including like a mental health crisis, it kind of looks like. Here, let's keep going here. What do I have for the hidden truth? What does this person want to say to pile number one? Listen, because of this energy, that it's like you guys were kind of like, I think for a while you were just stunned whenever they were really hurtful to you. And then like eventually you just kind of have to start fighting back because, you know, emotional safety issues, you deserve to like defend yourself. So it doesn't look like it's a good combination. But they wish they could say to you that, like, they recognize what really went on and how much of it really was their fault. Now, having said that, remember, there really is always, like, you know, there's blame on both sides when you're lingering in a long-term relationship. The nature is calling you. things I like here is that like they keep a very respectful distance from you, but they're very aware of you. You let me down. I have trouble with intimacy. You inspire me. I don't know what you want. I saved your texts and messages. So you let me down is like, it looks like the breakup or whatever this is, the dissolution of the relationship came from you. And that they do, like they have an issue. Like they have an issue with looking at their own emotions or hearing about anybody else's. In the aftermath of it, like I said, it's like they blamed you. They blamed you. And then they kind of had to start facing that it's like, oh, I don't know how to express my emotions, and like I beat up on other people if they have them. And they do watch you and they find you very inspirational. They don't know how to approach you. They don't know how to approach you. But like there's stuff that you, if you emailed each other, if you sent text messages, like they sit around and compose messages to you sometimes, trying to figure out if there's a way to have any kind of like relationship with you at all. One of the things that started happening in the aftermath is that they went through a period of missing you so much that they didn't know what to do with it. They just really didn't know what to do with it. Particularly as they started having to learn about their own crap. This could be long dead. Like this could be somebody from like 10 years ago for all I know, because there's this kind of like, there's no romantic vibe here any longer. If this was a romance, it no longer has anything like that attached to it. But they keep trying to find a way to bring this, like, you know, they just wish they had. Look at this check-in. When you think about whatever it is that you're pondering, take a moment to check in with how you feel about it. Do you feel lighter or heavier, excited or filled with dread? Pay attention to your inner guidance. It's always so helpful. Hey, listen, the check-in energy, that particular energy is not holding true on this. Except that they have to, like, every time they have an impulse, like they've learned that, like, they're damaged. They found out they have like a really emotionally damaged response system. Here's what happened to them. Like all the stuff that you might have said to them, at first they blamed you, and then they heard it from other people. A lot. And they had to kind of examine that nobody tries to be very close to them. And that it may be that they're just way too damaging. But this is what they wish they could have with you, is like the ability to be like, hey, what's up? That they wish that they could talk to you, that they wish that they could ask you about what you think about things. And like they're a little ashamed. And so they have a really hard time. Like I said, they sit down, they write text messages and emails to you sometimes. They don't do anything creepy like stalk you. They're not like driving by your house type of thing. But they worry. They worry about like what their penalty is going to be. They worry about being punished for the way they treated you, honestly. I think that they were, by the way. Like that, like I said, that for a while, God, they wished like every bad thing on you. There's substance abuse here, and please remember, if it's alcohol, there's almost nothing that like destroys a person's personality as much as alcohol. It's a very dark energy. It's a lower vibrational thing, and like they want all kinds of revenge against you. It didn't last super long. I would say it burned out in like an 8-month period after their last contact with you. Like it was not a full year later, or not even the length of a, you know, how long you would need to bring a baby into the world, before they were like, oh, they had multiple things go wrong. And then within about like, I'd say a year and a half, this is like an older feeling energy. Within about a year and a half, they had something go so wrong for them that they lost their power of choice over it. Expand And then resolution, and we want one more, surrender. Surrender was the next one. So I'm not going to read those little paragraphs on them because it's not applying here. They know someone who still knows you, but like that person doesn't share information with them very easily. And they try to ask every time that they talk to that person. Like, I think they're looking for a way to try and, like, could I send them a card? Could I contact them through their business or their work? Or they try. They had to confront that you were their, like, the closest thing they had to a best friend. This is sad. This is sad. So, like, all of that they wish they could say to you is that, like, I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong. That's what they wish they could say. I know I was wrong. They have something, like, really fundamentally different in their emotional makeup is all. And so that's why if you hear me kind of hesitating over here, it's like, what should you do with this? I'd say nothing. I'd say, you know, kind of go on with your life and not worry about it. They wish they could have their choices back. They, like I said, they sit around by themselves a lot. It's like everything they touched went funky, sideways, or pear-shaped for a good long time. And it includes, like, people. Like, people, like, they couldn't help but notice that people, like, really warmed to them at first and then, like, quickly started backing away. Like, I think they had to understand that it's like they're a really difficult person. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're a lot tougher than they are, is what they had to understand. That anything that allowed them to persevere in the past really did have to do with your ability to help them find a path. The minstrel, let your intentions be known. The dragon, strength and wisdom. Hindrance, fate has blocked this path. And then the spider, be meticulous and patient. There appears to be no way for them to figure out how to contact you. And honest to goodness, it may be that they're just not a very resourceful person. But they know that it was kind of like your ability to problem solve, your ability to take care of things. And at first, I really think they treated you like you were a millstone around their neck. Like the thing that was holding them back from greatness. And then instead of greatness, they kind of ended up, like, you know, scraping the bottom of their barrel and finding sludge. Anyway, so that is the reading for pile number 1. You know, outcomes on this, it's a little bit hard to tell on this, but there does appear to be just like too many natural barriers that it would take you reaching out to them. And that, like, they wish for that a lot. They sometimes they open up their email in the morning or their phone in the morning and they're convinced there's going to be a message from you. They have a hard time just believing that you're gone. Like that there is no way, the whole I don't know what you want. They don't know how to begin to make something up to you. Listen, there's a sour note on this, and I'm going to cover it. They hate that you seem to be fine without them. Like, that's that, like, there's something fundamentally not great about this person. They don't like that you're okay without them. Like, it sometimes, like, it makes them... because the only reason that they can think of that you would contact them would be if you were in trouble. And then, like, they get out of having to do all the apologizing that they need to. They hate that you're fine. Like, they can't. They really, like I said, they struggle with their accountability thing. It's like intellectually they know they need to get there, but emotionally, like, their emotional world just is like they're angry and bleh, all the time. They have all these fears. But they do keep an eye on you without it being creepy. They wish they could talk to you about everything. Like, everything. Like, there's no... They had to face in the aftermath that they've rarely made an independent decision. When you were in their life, that like they ran everything past you, and they thought of it as like double checking their own instincts, and instead, you know, they had to face it. It was following yours. But there's a lot of hesitation around this, and it's like, I would not go anywhere near this relationship again, because this person still sometimes entertains fantasies about how everything will go wrong for you and you'll have to ask for their help, because it's the only way they can think of that you'd ever let them back into your life. And like, that's not good. that part's not good. That part's not good. They simply lack the imagination to figure out how to find a way back, and it's probably for the best. It's probably for the best. Listen to your intuition. We want more on this. Helpful people. Oh, yes. Okay, so honest to goodness. Pile number 1. This person wants to apologize, but it's not as sincere as I would like to see it being, because like I said, there's a part of them that like goes back and forth on some things that they shouldn't sometimes. And then they correct themselves, but it's like it's almost like they're trying to learn how to not blame everybody else, and they're very, very prone to it. And then, as I said, the thing that like gives me so much pause here is that they wish that like you would have a big enough problem that you needed their help, because it's the only way that they can think of that you'll ever talk to them again. And like, they're not thinking of it this way, but that's wishing ill on you. And like, it looks like you fought back sometimes, but that you really were not the person setting out to wound. Adventure, live wild and free, journey, branch out to new worlds. Journey and adventure. Anyway, they see you having a life and not needing them. And they really thought your whole life would fall apart without them. They really thought your whole life would fall apart without them. It's a little, like, it's kind of like a strange energy on this one, because like their truth came to them in stages. And one of the first things was that like they do check up on you and you just look better and sound better, and like they see you sometimes, and this is the part that gets a little weird for me, because they're not stalking you, but they've seen you multiple times, and I don't get how, but they see you and you look fantastic compared to them. They've had like multiple setbacks in their life that it shows on their face. They just look in the mirror and they see somebody who's defeated, and they look at you and they see somebody who's thriving. So what they wish they could say to you is that they wish they could be your friend and that they are sorry. But I'm not gonna lie on this one. I don't like the person's vibe on it. When you get right down to it, if they ever relaxed around you again, they would fall back into old habits, because they're just they struggle with compensating for their own emotional limitations by beating up on other people for having emotions that they don't know how to handle. Like the person we're talking about doesn't know how to handle other people's emotions. And so they beat up on people when they have them. And do I mean like literally? I don't think so. I don't think there was a physical vibe with this one, but like they try and make people feel ashamed for having emotions because they don't know how to handle them. So that was an interesting message. If you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. We can pursue more details on that or your future. I have a Patreon with daily healing and spiritual guidance Monday through Friday. I have a podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. I will link to, I think, the Patreon on this one, because I didn't get any specific advice, so you need to follow on that. But if you're struggling with recovering from that relationship, please consider listening to my podcast, because there's all kinds of stuff about how to recover from toxic relationships. That was your reading. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. If you chose pile number 2, this is your reading. We're putting the number 2 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading. But there are timestamps in the description box down below. There always are. We're starting out with, this is the book card. I did shuffle for all of those cards. The book is about learning and education and, you know, being intellectual and being smart. And, you know, it could be somebody you met at school type of thing is one of the other meanings that might be. Let's get going here. We're using an infinity spread. I almost always use an infinity spread. That guy wants out. I almost always use an infinity spread in my YouTube readings, because it talks about the outcomes, but also talks about underlying issues. We're gonna, oh wow, Prince of Pentacles in reverse, Princess of Cups in reverse. Let's keep going here. Hey guys, if you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. It's the only way to book me. It's at therisingmoon.com. Please don't forget to do things like subscribe and, you know, hit the like button if you like the reading. It helps my channel. This is a difficult one. So the Princess of Cups in reverse with the Prince of Pentacles in reverse. Boy, this is an interesting one because, like, the person has, like, undergone, like, they had to learn how to approach themselves differently. They've been reading a lot about, like, early childhood development, by the way. They've tried to learn a lesson about that. Prince of Pentacles in reverse is, like, sometimes letting things go. Sometimes it's a failure to learn a lesson energy. That comes out with the Tower in the reverse, which is a starting over energy, is a grounded energy. I've got that with the Ten of Wands in reverse, which is releasing something. Let's do these and then, Okay. This is an interesting one. This is the second one that has to do with somebody who likely has gone towards a form of therapy or has gone towards a form of recovery. They had to learn how to do everything in a different way. They had very, very self-destructive impulses. Hey, what they want to say to you is that, like, you're the person who helped them see themselves clearly. Like, some insight or some observation made them look at themselves. I don't think that, like, there's some kind of complication here around why they're not in your life. Like, there's a complicated backstory. They're not sure they're good for you. But they wish they could tell you what a big difference you made in their life. Because whereas it was a rocky journey to start, like, they really had to start over with how they approached themselves and others. And it really is, it's like you made a big difference to them. But like I said, there's some weirdly complicated reason why they're not in your life. Like they like I said, they struggle with the idea that they're not good for you or they're not good enough for you. Queen of Pentacles in the upright. Boy, you did them a solid somehow. Four of Wands in the upright. I have the Queen of Wands in the upright. Okay, and then the Prince of Swords in the upright. Here's a weird thing. Like, I think they really do want to reach out to you. I think they actually will. You just have to give it enough time. You did something like so remarkably selfless for them that they are, or for somebody that they care about, that they really had to consider, like, your motives on things. It was very surprising to them. They have learned a lot about themselves and others. And like I said, there's this hugely complicated reason that they don't feel like they can be in your life right now. But they want to be your friend, like, kind of a lot. Here's the thing. There's a weird vibe of, like, maybe this is a relationship that never got off the ground. Like, it was a situationship, or, like, maybe it was, like, somebody had a crush on somebody else. And if you felt rejected, like, please understand, it is not that they didn't find you attractive. Like, it was that there was a very complicated situation behind it. They knew they wouldn't have ever been right for you in the way that they used to be. And used to be. Like, they still feel like they have a connection to you. They still feel like they have a connection to you. They have a lot of gratitude towards you, and they do want to talk to you. They're very much a when things are meant to be, and it will work out when it's meant to type of person. It's the only thing you need to be aware of. Like, so, like, don't sit and wait for this message. Just go about your life. I think you already are. I don't think you're holding out space. I don't think you're holding space for this person. They just credit you with being one of the few people who would ever tell them the truth. Everybody else was afraid of them. And, like, I think because they're very, very, very intellectual. Like, they're a really intelligent person, which can be distancing and limiting, and like people afraid to bring anything up, and like you just were like fearless. Like they think of you as this fearless person. I wish they had half your bravery. That's something they'd love to be able to tell to you. The complicated situation, this is a weird thing. Like there was another person involved somehow, and at first that other person like really was like, you know, trying to dictate terms. And they switched gears and tried to encourage this person to get in touch, to get in touch, to get in touch, to get in touch. But like they didn't trust this person's motives. And like they were afraid of being used. And not by you. They were just afraid of being used to a person who, listen, this is a complicated person because like they've never felt very close to people because they're brighter than other people. They wish they could be closer to you, and they do want to talk to you. And like they foresee that happening within this lifetime. But like I said, they struggled with the idea that they weren't good for you. And I think you'd agree that they really kind of weren't at a different time. I think you're safe from them now, and I think they do know that part. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse, which is a trauma energy, and then the World in reverse as well. So this is an interesting one to me because, like I said, they've been learning a lot about childhood development, and they understand a lot more about themselves. They're this super intellectual person. And like I said, there was this very, very complicated situation. It's weird because I get zero vibes of it having been a true third-party situation, but this person felt very torn between two loyalties. They had to choose loyalty to themselves, and like you're a big enough person that you don't begrudge them that part. Like you get the part where it was like, yeah, no, it was complicated. But they know that you feel very, very betrayed by something that they did, and they want to make that up to you, and they don't know how. They're waiting for it to just be them to be absolutely sure that like they wouldn't disrupt anything for you. I want to say it's weird because like, do they actively keep tabs on you? Yes and no, sometimes. Like sometimes, but like it's more that they have people around them who know about you. We have child orphan, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. The shadow attribute on that, let's cover it, even though it came out in the upright. Feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. I have something to say that you're not going to love, but I'm going to say it anyway. Part of the reason they withdrew from your life was like they didn't want you to... They wanted you to discover your own power. They wanted you to see yourself as like others have seen you. And that's why they said like they really did struggle with the idea that they weren't good for you. They've since come around on that. Like I said, they're aware enough of you. They check in on something. Like they liked your voice a lot. They just liked your voice a lot and the way that you would phrase things. And that like you're authentic in a way that they're not used to in other people. I think that you will be able to tell if like you're ready with how you hear this. They have every intention of talking to you again. Like I said, they're just waiting to make sure that it's you've cleared an energy entirely. Mother, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life, then child orphan, and then one more on this one. Hedonist, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrate the beauty in yourself as well. Boy, I love how they see you. I love how they see you. I think you struggled with something a lot. Like you struggled with something a lot. And like they just admire the way that you've handled it. But they do have every intention of talking to you again sometime. Like they're weird about like the passage of time too. They're weird about it. Like they're very much an everything happens in its time person. They had to observe somebody who knew you. and come to like the conclusion of like who was right and who was wrong, and they understand something much better now. They do want to apologize to you for something about that. Like there was a peripheral situation, and like it might have been like one of those he said, she said things, and like he was in the there's fault on both sides. There always is. As time went on, like he really did have to confront, it's like, oh, well, it was probably like a 90%, 10% distribution there, with you being in charge of the 10% fault and the other person being largely the person at fault. For one thing, like the other person confided to them like a bunch of things that they had done that like no like normal person would listen to and be like, yeah, I'm sure that was okay to do. That's warranted. Like they had to face that it's like, no, that was abuse. Somebody abused your trust. They knew that person. That I think that's part of the complicated situation. Anyway, they really do have every intention of talking to you again. They just want to make sure that it's for the best for you. And why? You're not intimidated by them. If anything, some people find you super intimidating. They can find you super intimidating. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Part of the reason they really value you as a human being and they want you back in their life somehow is that you never seemed intimidated by them. And like most people are. And I don't know why. All right, here we go. We have Green Witch. Connect to the spirits and energy of your local landscape. Seek enchantment. Interesting to me. I think that's advice for you. Remember, grounding in nature is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And then the hedonist is also like somebody who's enjoying life. They do have some means of like tapping in and checking up on you. It's not constant. It's not constant. And is this a friendship vibe or a romantic vibe? It's weird, but it kind of exists in this nebulous, like, it's both. Here's what I've got. This person you were never romantically involved with. But they know that if they'd met you under different circumstances, they would have been. And you need to know that somehow. Like, you need to know that like, if they pushed you away, it was because of a background situation. And like I said, you really might not have been well. You might have been struggling with codependency or transference or something, or had way too much on your plate. But like, they took a big step back, but they feel very connected to you to this day. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Away We Fly. Take the cloud roads, delight in your imagination. They could discuss things with you on an intellectual level that they can't with other people. And I mean like almost anybody else. It's why they don't think you're gone from their life. They just think that it's a big pause. What kind of relationship do they foresee going forward? A friendship, I think. A friendship. I don't think they envision more. I don't think they envision more because they think that like... it was a moment, if there was ever an inclination on your part, they think it was a momentary impulse that you have long since outgrown. I think they're right. We have Keep Going. Half the deck fell out. Create. Boy, they cheer on your little efforts, whatever it is you're doing in life. And like, I'm not trying to be reductive when I say your little efforts. It's just that there's this feeling of them like watching and cheering and being happy for you and wishing that you guys could be friends and talk about the things you used to talk about. Do they envision a deeper relationship? It's weird because no, but it's weird for a very particular reason, is that they don't think you actually would want them. They have a very clear view of who they are in relationships, and it's like it's not their forte. Like, it's romantic relationships is not their forte. It's just not. But they think it would be you at this point if they came forward like trying to talk to you. It would be you saying like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. And I think they're right. I think they're right. If you ever had an inclination towards this person, like you've examined something about their inner world and like how the world taught them to be towards others, and you're like, yeah, that's not that that doesn't fit. But they wish they could talk to you about everything that's going on in the world and what you think about things and what you think about the things they've learned. And they think you're smarter than they are. And like everybody thinks this person's super, super, super smart. But they think you're smarter, and I think they're right. We have detach. You're being asked to detach from something that you've been holding on to. When we hold on too tightly to the desired outcome, it restricts the flow. Trust that the outcome will work out and let go of your attachment to it. That's what they're waiting for, is for you to just to let go. I think you have. Like, I think you can hear all of this and you're like, yeah, it's going to be what it's supposed to be. In a really nice way. It's in a way that I really am enjoying the energy on. They really don't think that this not talking to each other is permanent. They think it's a necessary pause. This isn't going to apply to everybody, but it's going to apply to some, because like in general readings, like there's no way for it to apply to everybody. But this applies to you if you're single. They wish for better than, that's what it is. They think you deserve better than them when it comes to relationships. I think for a while they were waiting for you to have another person, because they actually really do think you're super attractive. And I don't think you've done that. Like if you've had people, it's been like for fun, it's been coming and going. You've been working on yourself, focusing on your own stuff. And for a while they thought that they'd wait to contact you until like you were in your next relationship. It did dawn on them that it's like, maybe they're not going to do that again. And that like, if they waited forever, like that, like, you know, the opportunity would close forever. They don't think the opportunity to be in your life is closed. They just wanted to make sure that they weren't. This is a strange, strange thing, because they do find you super attractive. They don't really think that there is a way for you two to be together. But they are waiting long enough that if they show up in your life and that there is still some kind of inclination there, because there's a past inclination, they want it to be something that's it's new. They didn't trust something in the past, and like they're waiting long enough to make sure that it's a trustworthy thing one way or the other. But that like they're super honest with themselves about who they are, and that they're not good at relationships. They're not good at romantic relationships. You need to know this person views you very romantically is a very funny thing, though. Like almost like a painting that they look at in a museum, where they like study it for the, like, it's not even so much that they think you're so incredibly beautiful, although I get the feeling they think you're very, very attractive. It's that like you're one of the most complex people they've ever met in their life, and you're one of the only people they can honestly say they think you're a good person. And for a while they had somebody trying to convince them that you weren't. And did they ever really believe it? They withheld judgment. They are somebody who withholds judgment. Is there judgment involved now? To an extent where like even things have changed. Things have changed. Like I said, for a long time they really were waiting to be like when they're in the relationship, and I know that I wouldn't screw up their life. I'd like to talk to this person again because I feel like I owe them an explanation. And like I said, there's a part of them that's like, oh, well, wait, what if this person's just not going to do that? Because they don't want much more time to go by, because they actually miss your voice. And not just the way you sound, although they really like the way you sound, but like the way you view things, the fact that you're very direct. They like a lot of things about you. Protect what you love. Is your duty and responsibility, your deepest desires constrain you. That's kind of what I got, is that like they're trying to protect you, feel the power and blood of your ancestors, you are not alone. That they thought that maybe there was a codependent thing going on. I don't think they were wrong. They thought that there was a codependent thing going on in what you might have once wanted from the relationship. I'm going to do one thing here because it's so like weird about the romantic. What's the romantic outcome on this particular pile supposed to be? Like, what's the idea here? Is there something I'm supposed to know about this? Because it's so back and forth, it's confusing the crap out of me. Like, they, honest to goodness, they thought there was a codependent reason that you might have been attracted to them. And they're not wrong. But it's not, like, please remember, codependency is not a value judgment. It's just an energy, a state of being. You appear to be super powerful and, like, no longer defined by that if you ever were. Let's go. Let's get a romance angel, just because it's very confusing. Trust. This situation is calling on you to have faith. You don't need that answer. You don't need that answer. That was part of the problem, is trying to have too many answers about what was going forward. You're supposed to detach from the outcome. Just keep going with your own stuff. Is this person ever going to show up in your life? Well, let's get a hidden truth and see if I can get anything from that. Okay, we'll do the higher love. What's coming up with this person? Because, like, I get the feeling that, like, the things that they want to say to you, they're going to end up saying them to you. I just don't have, I have zero time frame on it. I have zero time frame on it. You see them very differently than you used to. New level of growth. Okay, we have something coming up with this. We have something coming up with this. It's going to be different for different people. It's going to be different for different people. Keep going. They have no intention of being out of your life for the rest of your life, in case you're wondering. But they're very astute. This person is very astute, and they have things to say to you, and one of them is just a plain old-fashioned apology, because they had to change their viewpoint on something when it came to you. Like, they had to potentially see you, I think, maybe as a wronged party, like in a more complete fashion than it was comfortable for them at first. And why? I think just divided loyalties. I think there's divided loyalties on this. Anyway, they want to be able to talk to you again, because, like, you're one of the only people they've ever met that they could have a conversation with, and not, they could be very, very open with you, and they were always very eager to hear what you were going to say on things. And they will be back in your life when it's appropriate. And the very fact that they really did think it was codependency that was causing something in the past, and then the fact that, like, you very clearly have recovered, is one of the things that kind of makes them go, oh, well, soon. But I don't have a time frame on that. I don't have a time frame on that. But my feeling is that everything they want to say to you, which is, like, they know they owe you an apology. They know they owe you an apology, and it bothers them. It bothers them. It bothers them because I think sometimes you think a little ill of them, and they know it in a weird way. Like, they're very connected to you. They have been since the very first second they ever saw you. Like, they knew you were a significant person. But they're not, like I said, they wish they could figure out who you're supposed to be to them too. And that's why they want to talk to you again. But they don't want a life, to not talk to you for the rest of their life, because they've never met anybody else quite like you. So group number 2, expect, like, contact at, like, some nebulous weird point in the future. It's going to be different times for different people. But they want to apologize to you, and they want to explain things. Like, they don't like the way how anything ended. And it bothers them. It bothers them. And it, like, they think things over and over again, and, like, they become more and more determined that, like, there's something more there, that they want to be able to say it. But like I said, they wanted to make sure that they thought you were experiencing some form of transference, and I think you were. I think you were. It's just that I think underneath that is, like, a legitimate, like, you're the 2 brightest people most people have ever encountered. And that you make a lot of sense on paper, but maybe only make sense as friends, and they don't really know one way or another. And mostly they just want to apologize to you and explain something to you to clear their conscience. Okay, so pile number 2. Wow, that's a weird one. Pile number 2, that was your message. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. It's at therisingmoon.com. I have a podcast called Logical Magic Examining Esoterica, which helps people heal from all kinds of dysfunction and toxic relationships and emotional damage. And then I have a Patreon that offers Monday through Friday daily advice for healing and for what's coming up. And I'll link to that here as well. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. If you choose pile number 3, this is your reading. We're going to put the number 3 over there, but there are timestamps in the description box down below. There always are. I did shuffle for the Lenormand deck. The Clover came out for pile number 3. Clovers are about like luck and good fortune, prosperity, expansion, growth. It's actually a really, really good energy. Let's get going here and see what they want to say to you. What do they wish they could say to you now? What do they wish they could say to you now? Hey guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe. It helps my channel. If you like the reading, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. It's the only way to book me, and I'll never approach you in comment sections. And I have a podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. Lovers in the Upright. It's the Gemini card. It's the card of being fully integrated and aligned within. It's coming out with the 9 of Swords in the Upright, which is like sleeplessness, restlessness, fears. Ooh, what is preying on this person's mind? With the High Priestess in the Upright, which is intuition. Sometimes it's like the outcome isn't known. It can be one of the cards for like healing and patience. I don't really see it that way. It's about learning new things for the most part for me. It can be one of the goddess energies. This comes out with the Knight of Swords in the Upright. Wow. First of all, you're going to like hear something from this person. I'm going to say kind of soon. I don't know if this is, the Lovers is not one of the cards of relationships for me. It's about being careful with your choices. So let's get the rest of these cards down. If I'm pausing, it's simply that like there's an interesting energy on this. This person like, they're still very, very aware of your life. They might still be in your life in some capacity, but I don't think so. What they wish they could say to you is that like, you know, do you want to get together? Like, and I don't know if it's a romantic energy or if it's like they're going to be traveling to where you live and they'd like to see you. Because this is one of the cards for messages and for airline travel. And like, they think you're this really charmed person. Like, it's almost like magic follows you wherever you go. They've had some jealousy issues with you, by the way. So this really might be a friendship rather than a relationship, like a romantic relationship. I'm not positive. Let's get the rest of these cards down. I'm using an infinity spread. I almost always use an infinity spread when I'm doing my YouTube readings. Let's talk about our first tier, which is like the outward appearance of things, the 3D appearance of things. You're going to hear from them again. Like they wake up and think of you quite frequently. I'm kind of like, you're in their mind a lot more than you might think. And I think it's been radio silence for a while on this particular connection. But like what they want to say to you is like, hey, it's like I'm going to be in town. Like, and they want to know if you want to get lunch or if you want to like hang out. They just want to talk to you. They just want to talk to you. It's weird. There's no sense of they want to make an apology here. Like it doesn't seem to be that situation. Like there doesn't seem to be like wrongdoing on either side, just distance. This person had to like deal with their own crap for kind of a long time. We've got the Fool in reverse, which is risk and caution. And then I've got the Strength card in reverse, which can be illness, vulnerability, fear. It comes out with the Page of Swords in the upright. Yeah, you really are going to hear from them. And then that comes out with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, which is a scheduling card. They're coming to town and they want to talk to you, and like that's what they would like to reach out and say. And will they? It's going to differ from person to person. Sometimes people don't act on their impulses. They're really a night owl, by the way, and like you have a tendency to pop into their head at like 3 a.m. in the morning, like very consistently. Their life has not changed a great deal, and I don't feel like you guys have the same values. They wish you really, really, really well, but they're not super well. Like they physically may not be well. But they have a reason to be in the area where you are, and they kind of want to be able to reach out to you and talk to you. This comes out with the Moon in reverse, which is clarity, and then it's coming out with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse as well, which is about letting go, releasing things, like relaxing as well. There is a good news, bad news situation with this, in that this person wishes you really, really well, but like they feel like there's a reason that y'all shouldn't be very, very close to each other, and yet they don't want to drop the relationship entirely. Like they wish they had more access to you, but by the same token, like they cling to their ways a lot, and you're not a person who does that. Like you're a person who goes forward into new things. But there's some kind of communication from them, like in the not too distant future, and it really does feel like it's pretty close in. The Knight of Swords in the upright is like the fastest moving energy in the deck. It's one of the reasons it stands in for airplanes. But they're trying to make plans about like what they're doing when they're in your area. The only thing is like there's somebody around them that you like actively don't like, and they don't know what to do about that. They don't know what to do about that part, because they don't do a lot of things without this other person around. I don't get the sense that this was a romantic relationship, but it can differ from person to person. If it was, they since have another person, and that's who I'm talking about, is like they're not, like their partner's very controlling. Their partner's very controlling. They didn't realize that for a long time. Mountain, know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. Goals, progress is positive and personal goals will be achieved. And then unity. Yeah, they just want to get together with you and talk about stuff. This is like, whatever this once was, because I'm having a really hard time with this, in terms of determining, it's like, is this a breakup where the people have moved on and they now want to be friends? That way, if it's a romantic situation, that's what it is. They actually wish you really well, but like they think that you're like very true bluish. Like they think that you're a goody-goody. I don't know how else to put that. Like they think that you're somebody who, they think you're a really remarkably good person, but like they don't want to walk that same path. But they do want to talk to you and they do want to see you. And like that's what that's what they wish they could say to you, is like, hey, I'd like to hang out. I'd like to get together with you. But it's like letting go of the past almost entirely. And I have this thing where like there's an airplane involved and there's travel. And that like they'd like to get together with you for lunch or for dinner. Like I said, they have a really hard time getting any time away from this person that they're with. They have a super codependent relationship. You, I think, had some kind of, like, if you were best friends or something, you talk to each other every day. And like it seems to be something in the past. They really like your sense of humor. They do get jealous of you, is the only thing. Give. One of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. When we do so, we feel lifted up and our lives improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. Like, honest to goodness, that's what, like, they want to, like, buy you lunch or dinner. Honest to goodness, they're just focus. You're being asked to shift your focus away from what isn't working and towards what is. Paying extra attention to where you place your focus is the first step toward creating an amazing life. I'm struggling with this one because this person has very different values than you do. Like, very different. It's not that their values are wrong, by the way. It's just they're very different from yours. And they really wish they could talk to you. Because, like, you're smart and funny and challenging. And that's what they really like about you. But this is a strange one because, like, this person has no interest in changing. They're very, very set in their ways. And like you seem to almost be an agent of change. But they wish you really, really, really well, like on a very deep level. They think you're very, very different. And they're very drawn to those who are different. Creative endeavor. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not a romance. If it's anything, it's like somebody who liked how imaginative and interesting and what a spark you have. The sacred temple, that's healing. Kindred partnership. Friends and colleagues. Yeah, it's a friendship. It's a friendship. This is somebody who's going to be in your area, and I don't know when. And by the way, this is a timeless reading. So it'll just happen when it's meant to. But like you're going to get an email or a text or something from this person. It's 100% like, you need to hear me on this, because sometimes people in the comment section will be like trying to reinterpret a reading to fit the meaning that they want. This is not a romantic meaning. This is a friendship. They want to get together with you while they're in town. They think you're really cool, but like they don't have any intention of changing and being even the tiniest bit like you. Which sounds like they're rejecting you, but like they know who they are and they know who you are. They want to get together in a very like, let's go out to dinner, or let's like, I think like they wonder if they're supposed to offer to buy you dinner, like, because there's some kind of weird, they have a fear that you're not going to be super open to seeing them again. And they like, there's no fractious energy. It's just that y'all are very, very different. And it's not a bad thing. They wish they could talk to you about that. Like the whole, like, hey, listen, we're not, you know, we walk a very different path, but like, I hope your world is paved with gold paths. Like they're really, honest to goodness. It's like they think you have a quality that is not easily replicated, and it's like having a precious object in their life as well. They know that, like, they never thought of themselves as a conformist until they met you. Because, like, you'll change anything to make it better. And, like, they're very set in their ways. This is a weirdly, like, if you were once really good friends, you outgrew each other. But, like, the affection is still there. The admiration is still there. But they said this person's not going to ever change their habits. They're very, very, very attached to them. But, yeah, they want to buy you dinner or lunch. That's what they want to say to you. They're like, every time, like, plans keep falling through for them, by the way. But that's what they wish, is that they could get together with you. Saturday, revelry and indulgence, which again, like they want to hang out. The Knight, triumph over adversity. That's going to be the exact same energy as this. The Dagger, conflict and danger lie in wait. With the Maiden, a new relationship blossoms. So the conflict and danger is not necessarily, like, there's a conflict of, like, who you both are. You have a very different value set. You have a really different value set. And I like it for what it is, but, like, if it was ever a romance, it's now just a friendship. There's no heat on this at all. I dig it, though. You're going to be hearing from them. And it is, like, to get together. And it's not for, like, let's grab a cup of coffee. Like, they're envisioning hanging out with you for hours. That's part of the reason that I'm laughing, because, like, I feel for this person, because, like, part of the reason their plans keep falling through is, like, their partner is far more controlling than they ever confronted before. Counsel and therapy. Yeah. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They talk about you in therapy sessions. They have therapy. They have access to a therapist. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They had to confront something they were doing that wasn't in the least healthy. And, like, they don't like to change their habits, period. They just don't. Destined, inner strength, speak your truth, and then listen to your intuition. I am telling you. They like to get your opinion on things. They like the way you reason things out. They just like you. They like you. But there's something here where the manner in which they like you also accepts that it's like, I keep wanting to say they think you're a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout. Like, they just think you're, like, a very, you're very guided to do the right thing in a way that has no interest for them. And I really just want to say it's interest. But that's what they want to say to you. They want to sit down, they want to shoot the breeze with you, they want to talk about everything that's happened, they want to tell you their stories and hear yours, and they want to be your friend. They just want to be your friend. They're, like I said, they don't live near you any longer. If they once did, they don't any longer. And, like, the thing that you will hear is, like, eventually they're coming to town and they're going to ask if you want to get together for dinner. You guys are so different that, like, there's some issue around that too. Like maybe you have very different eating habits or something, because they want to schedule something with you. They want to schedule something with you, but it involves like they need to they need to get rid of what they would consider the third wheel in the conversation. And it proves really difficult for them. It proves really difficult for them because that other person will go off and do all kinds of things by themselves. But the second that this person wants to do something by themselves, that like the other person blocks it a lot. It's this weird, like, you know, enmeshed energy. It's time for a change. Do not wait, put it off any longer. And then a difficult path is revealed. This is one of the same, this is all the same energy with live in this world as a dreamer, creative. They're having difficulties figuring out how to get to where you are. They're here. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't like the energy on their partnership because like it's very. This person tries to keep them on a leash in a way that they don't like. And they've had to start like kind of confronting that part. So they want to see you, they're coming to town, but they're having a really hard time with like on the few occasions they've gotten the other person to commit to it because they don't get to travel by themselves. And like that sounds like they're in an abusive relationship. I don't really get that. It's just that there are financial limitations on this. And so like the person is maybe dependent on that other person's money. Because they don't get to make these independent plans easily. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's really, they just want to hang out with you. There's this issue around like food or drink though, where like they would have a really hard time. I don't know if you're a vegan or what, but like they struggle with like every single aspect of the logistics of it. Like they feel judged by you sometimes. They feel judged by you. We have time. Embrace the dewdrops of life before they disappear in the morning sun and then the night. Find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. Honest to goodness with clearing. Make room for growth. They want to go out to dinner with you. They want to be able to offer to pay too, but like there's something that holds them back on that. This is a fun enough energy. Like this one's fun. Not all of them have been fun. This one I'm just going to say, this is fun. Like there's good intent behind this one. They keep having to change their plans. And like I said, I think their partner is weirdly threatened by you somehow. And I don't know how, because this does not appear to be a romantic connection. If it ever was, it has become a friendship for a long time. But their partner finds you vaguely threatening. Because like you don't hesitate to suggest the changes that need to be made in your life or in somebody else's. Anyway, I like the energy because like they wish you, this person wishes you nothing but well, but there's logistical problems. We have the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, which is like passion and interest and drive. It's the sacral chakra has your creativity and your inspiration. And like whenever, the only thing I've got here is sometimes they find your energy level intimidating because this person doesn't have good energy. Like they have a physical thing going on. They have a physical thing going on where they don't have good energy. But they've circled around this multiple times. They know they're still welcome in your life. If you haven't heard from them in a while, it's like everybody was like withdrew to their own corner to do their own thing. Man holding a coin, contract, attachment, the world. Okay. All right. Yeah, their money's not their own. For some reason, they're dependent on a person in their lives to make any plans. They can't make their own plans without this other person. And this other person, it represents a stumbling block in this. Is this a truly abusive relationship? I do not believe so. I'm not getting a nasty vibe. I'm getting this person's deeply insecure at the very heart of it. And here's the thing about the partner who is blocking any kind of forward motion and doing so intentionally. They are doing so intentionally. They do not like the idea of you spending even 3 hours alone with this person because this is a direct quote from what just came in. You put ideas in their head. They think you put ideas in this person's head. about how to do things and how to think about things and how to approach things. And they really do block it as a connection. And will it happen? It's going to happen anyway, is what I really, really got the feeling on, because they can only stall for so long. Because it's not a truly abusive situation. It's one where their partner only likes them to focus on their partner. Like that, the partner is like, focus on me, focus on me, focus on me. And like they really can't take it when somebody else has the focus for very long. And they have this weird thing where like they know that you don't like them. The partner knows that you don't like them. Perfect timing. It's a scheduling thing. It's a scheduling thing. This cannot hold true for everybody because like general readings never can. Like look for this towards June. Like you should receive words fair, like this is timeless. So like let's do it by the months. That would be about like 4 or 5 months away for most people. Unlikely. If you believe, yes, okay. So they've had it come out twice or thrice that they started to like reach out to you, and their partner blocks any form of connection with you because they're very easily threatened, very easily threatened. What that person wants to say to you is, I want to get together, I want to talk, let's go have fun, I want to buy you dinner. They have some limitations around, like I said, they don't control their own money. They just don't control their own money. So they're held back a little bit, but like look for communication, I want to say within about 8 weeks or so, okay? And that's the only one I've gotten a time frame on so far. So pile number 3, that was your reading. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website at therisingmoon.com. That is the only way to book me. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, and I have a Patreon where Monday through Friday you get daily guidance. It's usually about a 10 or 15 minute draw to help you with healing, to help you with your path. I'll link to that in the space above. If you want to do that, I'd be glad to have you there. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. If you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. We're putting number 4 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading. Hey, we have the modern day spellcaster bringing us the infinity spread. I did shuffle for the Lenormand cards, and this is the dog card, which can be like about loyalty and companionship and like, you know, enthusiasm actually is one of the meanings of it. So let's put this over there, and the question we're asking is, what do they want to say to you? What do they want to say to you now? Been an interesting reading. Let's get going for pile number 4. Hey guys, if you want to hit the thumbs up button if you like the reading, I would super appreciate it. It helps my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, that has all kinds of healing advice on it. And then also I have a Patreon, which gives daily healing guidance Monday through Friday. And I will link to that at the end of this. Hey, 10 of Pentacles in the upright. Beautiful, secure energy on that. Interesting. With the Fool in reverse, I have the Death card in reverse. I knew it. Almost as soon as it started going down, it's like, the Death card in reverse is one of the few cards I have for actual literal death or closure. I looked at that and it was like an inheritance thing. It is really like it's... I don't think you're hearing from this person in this earthly sphere again. But let's find out. With the Temperance card in the upright, which is about healing and patience and like everything coming out in the end. It's one of the cards of alchemy. Let's get our cards down here. This is an interesting one. This is someone who's not been in your life, but like they have something for you after they have departed this earth. I don't know the nature of the relationship yet. Let's keep working on this one. As soon as it went down, it's like, yeah, when you hear something from them, it's going to be about money. And in a good way for you. In a good way for you. This is an interesting one. There is 0 contact, and it may have been that way for years at this particular point. The only way they know how to communicate to people, like money means more to them than almost anything. And so, like, the thing they want to say to you is... They don't say they're sorry easily, and so it's not that they're sorry, but they wish things had had a very different outcome. And there is, like, I don't know how much money it is, honest to goodness freedom. They wish you financial freedom. 2 wands in the upright, which is a crossroads energy. And then I have a wishes come true energy with the Nine of Cups in the upright, Ace of Wands in the upright as well. There's no way getting around this, and there's no time frame on this. And remember, it's a general reading, so it can't hold true for everybody. But there's somebody who, like, they have already, like, signed the paperwork on something that will come to you after they are gone. Is that departure imminent? I don't have it as being imminent, but, like, they want to make sure you're taken care of in the only way that they can. I don't know whether or not this person has a lot of money or not, but, like, that's the only, there's a rift here. There is this kind of devotion energy. Oh, that's what it is. It's a devoted energy. This is someone who's very devoted to you, and, like, but you don't talk to them, and there's a good reason, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. It's going to differ from person to person, but, like, this is weird because they have a strange energy, and it's like they want the last word. Like, they want, when they're gone, for you to feel almost guilty for the level of gratitude you will feel towards them. It's a screwed up energy. It's a screwed up energy. I'm not gonna. Yep, Four Swords in reverse. Interesting to me, with the King of Pentacles in the upright, which is financial security as well. It can be a person. The Ten of Pentacles in the upright is one of the cards for life insurance or inheritance. And that is the next thing you will hear from this person. They will no longer be here. The time frames will differ from person to person, but you will hear from an estate agent, I believe, an executor. I'm sorry to be a downer, guys. This is just what's there. But, like, the good part of it is that, like, there's a dreams coming true energy that comes along with this one that I'm in. Like, I like that energy. There's no heartbreak. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 heartbreak. When this person is no longer here, it will not be a tragedy. But they've already done it. They've already done some form of, like, trust planning or estate planning, and, like, you're the target of it. It's because they're, like I said, there's a part of them that just wants the last word, they'll be sorry. Like, because they feel aggrieved sometimes around this. All right, I have Snake, yeah. Use your intuition and healing powers. They'll guide you to a better path, but be careful. With Flowers, be generous. Success and emotional fulfillment are yours. I went one more on this. Lovers, there are two paths ahead. Be true to yourself. Patience came out with it, do. Slow down, change your attitude, clear your mind. Hey, so listen, this is an interesting one. They're never going to say anything to you again. Like, this is the next thing that you'll hear about them from. Here's the thing. I wish it was just a simple act of generosity. They are devoted to you and they do love you, but they are not a healthy person. They have made plans that involve, like, your financial security. I cannot tell how much it is. Please don't start thinking millions or something. But, like, that's the next time you will hear from them is through, like, an estate agent. It's not a lawyer, which often represents as the King of Swords, but it's, like, someone who's their executor. I'm going to tell you what they wish they could say to you is that this is hard, and please remember, I'm just talking about, like, what's coming through on the cards. If it's not your message, just, like, you know, I apologize I don't have a message for you, but this is the message within this pile. They think you're a really difficult person. They think that, like, I swear that there is this weird feeling of I'll show you. Like, it's like they used to manipulate you with guilt and shame. They have not been in your life. Remember, more than one thing can be true at once. Somebody who's unhealthy can still be very, very devoted to you. And they're, like, they don't view themselves honestly. So they think it's all on you. So this is not that they're trying to apologize or anything. It's like they want the last word about what kind of person they are. And they want the world to view them as being this really magnanimous person. But anyway, the results for you are good. The results for you are good. It's a difficult energy. Self-sabotage. Crossroads, interesting. Eternal love, yep. Life-changing decision, new friendship with stuck. We're gonna pull back on stuck and celebration. Oh, yeah. Self-sabotage. They did this to themselves. They don't really admit that to themselves now. Are they still living? As far as I know. As far as I know. But past, they're making something, your wishes come true when they're no longer here. So it does appear to be an inheritance that we're talking about here. Could it be like somebody set up a trust fund for you and they're still living? With the weird energy I've got around a couple of like they did something where you could not speak to them any longer, like for your own well-being. And they're very vain. They're a very vain person. And they just want to make sure that it's almost like they're trying to get their hooks into you after they're not here any longer. Now, when they're really not here, that won't be their motivation any longer, because like really only our highest self survives beyond this earthly plane. Unless like there's a very complicated, thing where people become earthbound spirits. This person's not going to become earthbound. They actually like try to be a decent person. Like they hold themselves to a lot of standards, but they think you're the problem. They think you're the problem. And after they're gone, like they'll see themselves a lot more clearly. Follow the path of your soul. Do not let anyone or anything stop you. They blame you is the thing. They blame you. They blame you. They blame you. And like it's not accurate as near as I can tell, but you have not talked to this person in a really long time and you don't have any intention of speaking to them. They feel like it will illustrate to other people because they really worry about what other people think about the fact that you don't talk. This might be apparent because they really worry about like what it looks like to other people. Partnership for the new age. And then I want one more on this. You're caught up in drama. Yeah, well, this is a weird pile because this particular person envisions how bad, you'll be sorry then, right? That's the kind of thing that they're thinking, is that like they're going to force you to think well of them in the aftermath of them departing this earth. And I kind of don't get the sense that they're like super duper wealthy. But what I get the sense of is that it will actually be something that opens up more possibilities for you. And then you're caught up in drama, like they're a dramatic person. Oh my God, they can't stand it when the focus is on other people. I need you to hear something, is that what they tell people about you is like that they make it all your fault. They make it all your fault in a way that like is not accurate nor fair, but they do that. Let's get some archetype cards on this. You're gonna see my arm like reaching across the deck because I put the deck back over there. All right, Golem, yeah. Close friend acts on your behalf. The moon, you'll be guided through darkness. So what's the time frame on this? It's going to be different for different people. This is a timeless reading. But it's like, here's what they wish they could say to you. I have always loved you and I will always love you. And it's like this very magnanimous thing that they're very devoted to you. And like they want you to feel guilty. It is a strange thing because they want you to feel guilty. Seduction, passion, and romance awake. The spirit unseen forces watch over you. They want to make sure that you're bathed in regret. It's weird. There's a very manipulative energy behind this. It will do good in your life. It will do good in your life, but it's a slightly difficult energy because the whole devotion and like the loyalty and like that's how they want to appear to other people, that despite your many flaws they remain devoted to you. This is a difficult one because I kind of don't love the person's energy, but on the other hand they're just messed up. Like they don't know how to face who they really are. They don't know how to approach a world in which they don't see themselves as being, you know, absolutely right and like an authority, and like it's just an insecurity. It just manifests in a really weird way. I really get the feeling this is a family member. It's a tough energy. Education. Okay. Balancing act. Yes, I would agree with that. One ring circus and then commitment. Yikes. Talisman, which is wisdom. Honest to goodness, like it's almost difficult to find anything else to say on this one, because the person's energy is, they're not well. Like they're not a mentally well person. They've already set up something already. Like they learned all about structuring something. And the one ring circus and commitment. It's weird because they also love you. They also love you. And if that sounds super confusing, this is a confusing pile to be reading. I will be very honest. This person is not a well person. They are not going to be well within their lifetime. And do I mean physically well? I think they're okay-ish. But like mentally, like I said, they can't entertain the idea of having been the person in the wrong, because they have insanely fragile self-esteem. But the way it manifests is like through complete arrogance, that they're always right. And you were very, very, very difficult for them to, like most people give in to them because they won't ever stop insisting. And you're not experiencing that with them because you're not in each other's lives anymore. It really gets the feeling of like a difficult uncle, aunt, mother, father, that type of thing. It does appear to be a family member. But they want people to think well of them and speak well of them. And oh my gosh, even after like she wouldn't talk to him for years or he wouldn't talk to them for years, still left you all that money. It's that kind of vibe. Ask for help. Speak up, and then connect with lighten up. So the ask for help, I'm not going to read the paragraphs on these because they genuinely, it's another one of those, I'm a keyword reader, which means these basically form a sentence for me. Ask for help, speak up, connect, and lighten up. They have had somebody already draw up paperwork for you. Like it really, like the ink's dry on everything, and like do they sit around like anticipating when you will get word? They envision what your response will be to this a lot. They envision it in a way that's kind of odd to me, because it is kind of like they're trying to one-up you somehow. They're trying to one-up you somehow. And like to make sure that they get the last word in something in a way that like makes you look like they're so obsessed with image. They're so obsessed with an image. I could feel very, very sorry for this person, but like I said, they're dramatic. It's like they're trying to stir up. They want to be your focus in a way that they can't get you to focus on them in your life. And they want it to be afterwards where like, you'll be sorry, there's nothing you can do, you'll learn to regret. Dreamer, best version. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, keyword reader, this is like, you know, even during times that discourage me from carrying on, I will continue to follow my dreams, no matter how difficult, though the road bumps will set me back. I have determined that giving up is not an option. I will never abandon my dreams. And then best version, honest to goodness, it is that they're, listen, this is a difficult person because they're very concerned with their image even after they die. And it's one of the reasons that they're doing this. Work balance with soulmates. The work balance, you know, it's a good life-work balance, but it's also to give you more options in your life. It's not completely selfish. This is a complicated person on the other side of this. This is a very complicated situation, and it's a complicated person. And remember, very few situations are defined by one energy. And there are multiple things going on here. Like this person loves you, but they also wish that they could control all your choices. This person loves you, but they also blame you almost entirely and take no accountability for their own actions. This person loves you, but they are also very obsessed with how they will come off to other people, and it worries them so much that they put in, like, they're trying to, like, make you feel ashamed of cutting them out. And so there's, like I said, there's more than one thing going on. They're used to trying to control people with guilt. And they're very concerned that they thought this through really, really carefully, by the way, because it's not just an act of generosity. It's not. They thought through, well, if I don't do anything, then that will make this person cutting me off seem justified. Most people, by the way, don't care, and it would not occur to them that most people do not care, that they spend almost no time wondering about why you're not in this person's life. But this person spends almost all their time, like, you're not in jail, you're not a drug addict, there's no good excuse for you not to be in their life type of thing. And so they're trying to make sure that in the aftermath of them departing, which is something they give a little bit too much thought to, quite frankly, they're not going to hurt themselves or anything. But, like, they want to make sure you're sorry. They want to make sure you're sorry. Saboteur highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring in your life. That's the second self-sabotaging type of energy. That it's almost, I'm going to tell you very honestly what has come through, and it's not super pleasing. They want to make sure that you don't get to move on with your life guilt-free after they're gone. They want you to feel guilty. They want you to feel guilty. We have poet, expresses soul insights in symbolic language, and then shadow attribute, turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. This did not come out in reverse, but this is the one that's really calling to me. It's like it's a gift that they want to rankle. And it's weird because, like I said, I don't really get the sense that we're talking about tremendous amounts of money, but, like, it's enough that it makes a difference. It's enough that it makes a difference. And they want you to feel bad. Like, that's important to them. They want you to have regrets. They spend way too much time thinking about you. Like, way too much time. Do they check up on you? Sort of, yeah. Sometimes, kind of. Like, going anywhere near you, like causes them to, like, it's like they don't want to give you the satisfaction or something, but they think about you a lot. They keep thinking they see you in public sometimes, by the way. All right, rebel in reverse, which is rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. They think you're a rebel. They think you're a rebel in a not good way. They think that this has got to be somebody who had authority over you in your life at some point, and, like, you were very difficult for them to control. We're going to use, this is Empress Lang's Apparently So deck. I really, really like it. It's best for, like, this weird generational trauma. There's a generational trauma energy on this one. So I'm not sure if if it is, by the way, ways to tell whether or not this is if you're not estranged from, like, a person who had authority in your life, grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, that type of thing. This can't be your pile, because the entire message is about it. The entire message is about it. And a partnership for the new age. I swear it's like they're trying to force a relationship with you when they're no longer in this earth, because they think you'll have to forgive them at that point. Because they know it's that you won't forgive them. All right, end of a harsh karmic cycle. And they're worried about their karma. Black magic, I flippin' knew it. This is apparently all dark and evil works done got good, dead, you are safe. I read this as something around generational curses, by the way. Gaslighting, I would agree with that. Ancestral healing, yes. And then divinely timed prosperity. Well, if I didn't already know that, I know it now. They gaslight you. They used to. The end of this relationship, like the no contact, this is a no contact situation. This is a no contact situation. what they want to say to you is like, it's not, it's really, you'll be sorry. They honest to goodness put way too much thought and effort into figuring out how to make you feel bad and to control what other people think and feel about a relationship that you had with this person. And I really get the feeling that it's like a caretaker or a parent or an aunt or an uncle. It's got a very feminine feeling to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I'm a little bit gender blind. This is the least positive energy in this particular reading. All the other ones were very like conciliatory, like regrets and things. This person is going to make you feel like it's almost like this guy wanted to come out in reverse, like you had been disloyal to them, and won't you be sorry? So they've got something up their sleeve. It could take years and years for some people, honest to goodness, but their plan is to leave you enough money that like you would feel guilty about it. It's not like $400 or $500. It's not like $5,000 either. It's like, I would say, like kind of look between, you know, upwards of $5,000, because it's enough that it makes a difference. Like it would make something possible, paying off a bill or putting down a down payment, or it doesn't alter your entire life. It's not a lottery win, but it's enough that this person wants to have credit for your life changing for the better and for you to feel bad. And it's a very weird energy. It's a very weird energy. But if this is your pile, that should be making all kinds of sense to you, okay? All right, so number 4, that was your odd reading. Remember, you can go back and watch a different pile if you're like, that is not what I wanted to hear about. I don't control the messages, I just read them. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. That's attherisingmoon.com. That is the only way to book me. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, and I also have a Patreon where you can get Monday through Friday daily healing guidance and spiritual guidance as well as some like conjured magical energy and some guided meditations and some other things. So if you want to join that, I'd be happy to have you there. Take care, be well. Thank you for joining me.